Hello, good people. It's me. It's Dusty Seabiscuit coming at you again with some intelligent thoughts. The NBA Weekly, 2 days late. But at least it's updated this time, and it's actually a pretty good one, man. We had some fucking fantastic games in the NBA just last night, so it's actually, or at least one really good one just last night that kind of shifted my top 10. So in some weird way, I'm actually glad I waited. But enough of the talk at the front. And with no further ado, let's start the show. Episode, I think, 24, the NBA Weekly. Alrighty, where are we going to start? Let's start with last night, actually. Since it's fresh on my mind, the big game that could be a, Eastern Conference Finals preview took place last night in Cleveland in a game where they did start their big... Cleveland started basically everybody. I mean, that they would need in order to win a championship. Somehow, going into the game, they were a plus 5.5 against the Wizards. I guess I should have said who the fuck they were playing. The Washington Wizards, Johnny Wallball, and company in Cleveland were a 5.5 point favorite, which is, I don't understand how they calculated that or whatever. Cleveland not getting much love right now. But yeah, 5.5 point favorite. Let's pull up the recap bucket here. So the Wiz actually pull off the W, 127-115 on the road. They score 71 points in the first half. The Cavs look really, really bad defensively. John Wall puts up, 37 points, 11 assists on 67% shooting. Who else shot very well? Beal shot 47%. Everybody over 40% in the starting roster for the Wiz. And great victory there. Beal also adds 27 points. Everybody, let's see, they had like 7 guys in double figures, including the 37 and the 27. Looked really good. Kevin Love, the big three did okay. LeBron, 24, 11, and 8, played 40 fucking minutes. Kyrie, 23 and 4 assists. Kevin Love, 17 and 7. Other than that, not a ton of additional input from anybody else. Damn, Bradley Beal played 43 minutes. Holy shit. So a great win there for Washington. Truly, truly exploited Cleveland. I mean, if this was in Washington, this would have generally been no surprise, or kind of whatever. I mean, I think I picked Cleveland over Washington like 2 months ago in Washington to break that streak, and it did happen. But this Cleveland Cavs team, somehow, this is really confusing. They played core. They literally had every single player available. Literally every single player on their team played at least 2 minutes and 23 seconds, and they got destroyed. They scored. They put up 115, but just defensively, man, they couldn't stop anyone. Let's look at the standings right now. What is it? I think they're only going to be like a half game. Yeah, they're a half game now ahead of the Celtics. Both of them have 47 wins. Wow, that's insane. They're a half game ahead of the Celtics. And they're only 3.5 ahead of Toronto in the 4th spot, which is fucking crazy. And honestly, I don't think anybody would have ever seen the 4th place team being only 3.5 games behind Cleveland. That's the case it is right now. So definitely a statement victory there for the Wizards. They're going to be a favorite, prohibitive favorite going forward, I would imagine. Let's see. I wonder if they play today. No. And I don't think they'll be a favorite over the Cavaliers to win the championship, but so I guess they're not a prohibitive favorite, but they will be. They play the Lakers next, so that's a guarantee almost. They'll be not slept upon. I will say that. They're going to be a team that is going to generate a lot of interest. And then we'll talk about 2 other games from yesterday. Sorry, we'll move on from that. We'll talk about 2 other NBA games from yesterday. I'll even give you the scores of some other ones. So the Spurs beat the Knicks 106-98 at home. Nothing terribly special there. Maybe even a closer game than you may have, anybody may have anticipated. Derrick Rose somehow scores 24 points. Hernan Gomez scores 24 points. And Kuzminskis scores 19 points. What in the hell is going on? Wow. that's weird. Okay. And then for the Spiggity Spurs, Kawhi 29 points. LaMarcus 19 and 10, which is what he generally does. Pau Gasol 19 and 10, which makes you happier. Good game there. Portland at home 112. Minnesota 100. Portland looking good. I definitely liked him to win that game. Wiggins with 20. Towns with only 16 points. C.J. McCollum dumps 32. Dame Dash 6 rebounds, 8 assists to go on with the 21 points. Nurkic 14, 9 of 4. They kind of have a big three going on there now, and it's actually they might even be a better team now that they don't have LaMarcus Aldridge. It's kind of weird. Nurkic actually might be a better fit for him. Alrighty, but the other games from last night I want to talk about are the Utah Jazz at the Los Angeles Clippers. I feel like that was sort of a must-win game for the Clippers. Everybody, thinks that the Clippers have some terrible advantage over the Jazz, and they have won games this year, but they haven't looked anything like the same team recently. The Clippers win 108-95. Let's see. Hayward goes out in the fourth quarter with a knee injury. Hopefully, it wasn't a big one. It looked like it was just like some sort of a bruise or something. He was rocking an ice pack, so hopefully he'll be okay there. For the Clips, though, 28 points off the bench for Jamal Crawford, 14 for Paul, 15 for Blake, 15 rebounds for DeAndre. A good overall game. They got 11 and 10 from Spates off the bench. Good solid victory there, especially defensively against Utah. Gobert 26 and 14. Joe Johnson with 17 points. Hayward with 13 points. Nobody else in double figures for Utah. And a couple players didn't score. Definitely, I still think the Jazz are a better team. I figured that this was a must-win for the Clippers. They had to show up much more intense than the Jazz did, and obviously they did, and they got that win really just to stay in the mix. I actually so based on my top 10 from yesterday to this morning, I still dropped them one spot after this win by 13 over the Jazz. And they're behind Utah still. So, I mean, if that gives you any indication of how I feel about the team and the victory there. Overall, though, good victory. They're within a half game of Utah for the fourth spot. And the last game we're going to talk about for the show here is the Toronto Raptors going on the road to take on the Dallas Mavs yesterday. Raptors win 94-86 on the road. DeRozan 18 points. Ibaka 18 points. What else? 14 for Patterson off the bench. Not a ton of offensive prowess for him there. Harrison Barnes racks up 23. Other than that, nobody goes over 11 points for the Mavericks. And a great defensive victory there, which is kind of what you were expecting with P.J. Tucker, with fucking Valanciunas, and with Serge Ibaka and all these people in Toronto, is that they would have to start eventually stepping their shit up. And I believe that's 5 straight victories for them. So they are only a game behind Washington for the third spot in the East. 3 games behind Boston, 3.5 behind Cleveland. Looking damn good at the right time. So that was a pretty fantastic little performance there. Solid. And on the other spot here in the East, the 5 seed is 6.5 games behind Toronto for the 4 seed. It's actually a tie now between Atlanta, who's lost 6 straight games, and Milwaukee, who was in 11th place 2 weeks ago, and has won 3 straight, I think 10 of their last 12 or something like that. Doing great. Milwaukee actually 2 games above 500. And I actually think they're a better team than Atlanta just because of Giannis. I think he's the best player. That usually does a lot for you. I think it's a little bit more difficult to build upon a solid team, maybe like a Grizzlies style, than it is to build off of a one great player, maybe like a Rockets did or whatever. But I just figured I would shout that out. And enough about the games yesterday. Let's get into some of the news of the week. Probably the biggest news of the week was a Friday night. Friday night, the Suns played the Boston Celtics. Let's peek this shit over here. The Celtics won 130-120. At one point in the first quarter, they were up 22-3, and then Devin Booker got the ball, and they started feeding Devin Booker, and he scored. Needless to say, Devin Booker scored 70 points in a loss on the road in Boston. 70 fucking points, including I think 11 in the last minute and a half. All this shit. 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Shot 52%, 21 of 40 from the field, 24 of 26 from the line, 4 for 11 downtown. Literally they just fed him the ball almost every play, especially in the second half. I think that he had like 30-something in the first half, or like 28 in the first half, and then like 52 in the second half. The second half, they really just started feeding him the ball, and he just got hot, man. He was making all sorts of plays, drives to the lane, good layups, using great bank shots. He's a very good bank shot shooter, honestly, a la like a Tim Duncan style. Got a lot of moves, Devin Booker does. He can shoot from downtown, obviously. He pulled up from hella deep, at least once that I saw and hit. Fantastic performance by Devin Booker. Unfortunately, just not enough to keep up with the Boston Celtics. These guys are fucking gangsters. In the win, Isaiah Thomas, 34 points, 7 assists. Horford 15 and 10, Crowder 13 and 10. Everybody basically scored except for Zeller. Everybody put up like 9 points for the Celtics or more, 8 points or more. They look good, man. Giving up 70 points to one scorer is weird, but in the victory, it's obviously it was part of the plan for Boston to be able to pull that shit off. To basically siphon all of the defensive energy or the opponent's offensive energy into one player. It still got them to win. They were up big. They scored. And it just proved to be a great night, probably for both parties. Everybody wants to talk about Devin Booker's 70 points, he's the 6th player ever to get 70 points, and I completely understand that. I mean, it's such an incredible performance, but the Celtics can't be too upset either. They got the win, which is the all-important aspect here. And they're now a half game. Well, now after last night, they're a half game behind Cleveland for the first spot in the East. And they play today. The Celtics play today. They host Miami, excuse me. The 8th seed Miami at the possibly number 1 seed Boston. I want to take a look and see what the odds for that game are, actually. Celtics a 5-point favorite. I think that's probably fair. I might even take that a little further than 5, maybe 6, 6.5. The Rockets and Thunder are playing today. That's going to be a sick game. Rockets a 6-point favorite. Memphis at Golden State. That might be good. The Pelicans at the Nuggets. That should be good. We got a few good games today, actually. No daily wager for you, though. Fuck that shit. All right. Back to the program. So the other day, actually, the Pelicans, while the Pelicans were on a roll, Houston had a pretty great victory over them, or a pretty good victory over them. I mean, it wasn't like a fucking spectacular win, but it was very good. 117-107. Again, the same thing that kind of happened with Booker. They kind of held all of the scoring just to Davis and Boogie. They had 33 and 16 for Davis, 29 and 6 for Boogie, and I guess actually Holiday had 18. But other than that, they only played 7 people. 38, 17 and 7 for Harden. Chipped in from everybody. Gordon with 14 and 8, 12. Beverly 17. Capella 10 and 13. Great day. 5 for 7 shooting. Great day there. Fantastic victory here. I think it'll prove that they can beat bigs. They have the players that they need to beat bigs, and then they're going to spread the floor, and the bigs aren't really going to be able to stop them. I don't think as easily as they're going to be able to do it to them. 117 points at home. That's like generally the norm. Playing against a pretty good defensive team not a great defensive team, actually. I'll take that back. But I don't know. I hope that this can be a sign of things to come. I think that it probably is a sign of things to come, but we will see.